join me during the very first time motorbikes go around the new MotoGP racetrack in Hungary, the Balaton Park Circuit. A MotoGP race is going to be happening here in around a month, so how is it? And a little spoiler, the track is actually very different from what was shown on the video published on the MotoGP channel some time ago. There are completely new pieces of the track now. My team is my mom and my sister, and what I'm gonna be riding is my father's Aprilia RSV4. It has over 200 horsepower, it weighs under 200 kilos, and it is gonna be my first time riding it, so it's gonna be very exciting. It has a lot of very cool stuff. It has those things to cool the brakes. It has a lot of things done to the brakes. It has a lap timer that's not gonna be working because the track is new, so it doesn't have it in the database. It has all-in suspension. It has basically everything. It has a tuned-up exhaust. It has a tune, I think, on it. It has some ECU modifications as well. It is very well prepared. I have never rode on a bike like this, so you know what, wish me luck. And I'm finally just about to go on a track for the first time. They just have to make sure that the bike is loud enough. Okay, he's telling me louder, louder, louder. Is it loud enough? Yeah, I suppose. Great, of course, MotoGP track needs to make some noise, right? Yeah, so I passed the check. And it's time to get on the track for the first time. I'm getting used to the bike, I'm trying to learn the track, and being one of the first times on a 1000cc bike like this one, I'm actually really surprised. It's not that difficult to ride at all. The electronics, it's just amazing. The traction control, like, it really keeps the bike much easier to ride than you would think. Downshifting with the blipper, it's just so easy that you don't have to be blipping the throttle manually. But the only thing that I wasn't sure about were the tires. I was riding on the Mitas Sport Force RS, which stands for Racing Soft or something, and they seemed to be ripping, like they were disappearing very, very quickly, even though I was going pretty slow. So I decided to ask about it, and I was recommended to buy different tires, so I bought some awesome Dunlop slicks. The track day was organized by David Villa Racing Agency, probably my favorite track day organizer in Czech Republic for quite a few reasons. I really like that they have free consumption of various supplements. That is very, very useful when you are doing something as exhausting as riding a bike on track, so that really keeps you feeling strong. You can also win a lot of very cool things, including like tire warmers. You can buy brake pads and everything that you sort of might need for your bike. You can buy tires, and it's just very well organized with a good focus on safety. And you also can get one-on-one lessons with an instructor, and on top of that you also get some awesome grilled meat or sausages. And actually you also get professional pictures taken of you on the track, and all of that is already included in the price, so you don't pay anything extra for anything. It's really awesome. But let's get back on the track, because that's why we are really here. Green flag, and let's get on it. And let's get out of the track, because the traction control is not working. It's turned off. There is an error message, so there is no traction control. Okay, I will just try to, I don't know, turn it off and on. Suppose that usually works, right? Maybe it's gonna work. No, I think, I changed the tires. I probably need to do the calibration. Okay, how is it? Okay, let's set it up. No, I need to ride it, but I don't know in which gear and which speed. I think there was some... why doesn't it say on the dash? I'm supposed to drive at a constant speed in some gear. I just don't know what the speed is and what the gear is. Okay, I will have to just Google it, I suppose. Okay, let's go back to the tent. I will get my phone and I don't know if I'm really quick. Maybe I will still be able to do a little bit of the session. Okay, let's find the phone. Ah, come on, this is so annoying. And you know what, I'm a little bit scared to ride the bike without traction control, considering it's my like 3rd ever session on this bike, and I have never ridden a 1000cc without traction control before. So yeah, okay. Thank you, internet. I managed to find how to do this calibration, so I'm supposed to drive at 40 kilometers per hour in 2nd gear for like some seconds, and yeah, it seems like okay, it seems that the calibration is done, and now the instructions are to just turn off the bike and wait 1 minute. Ah, this is so annoying. Alright, so let's just like wait a minute. Okay, and now let's see if it's gonna work. Okay, Aprilia, awesome, turn on, because I still wanna do some track time. I wanna ride, hello. Ah, the error is not there now, so that is a good start. Let's get back on the track, and hopefully it's gonna be fine. Maybe it just needed the calibration. And I did 2 corners, literally 2 corners, and the error is back. So I'm on a bike with over 200 horsepower and none of the rider aids are working, and it's my first time on a bike. But you know what, it's an Aprilia, and there is something that I really love about Aprilias, which is that they are extremely capable, they are very fast, but they are extremely nice and friendly to ride. Guys, even without the traction control, this bike, despite having over 200 horsepower, is actually very easy and very nice to ride. I didn't have a single moment where I would be scared or have any sort of moment or be uncomfortable with anything. It is just incredible. Of course, I have to be blipping the throttle, as you saw my wrist moving as I was braking, but it is just completely delicious. I was braking with one finger, blipping the throttle, and you know what, I might be enjoying it more without the traction control actually. It is incredible. I'm actually feeling more comfortable than I was feeling on some 600s. Yes, there is a lot of power, but it is very easy to control, and the throttle is super smooth in the on-off transition, much smoother than a lot of much weaker bikes. I did manage to fix the bike right after this session, and it was not the fault of the bike at all. When I was changing the tire, the ABS wheel got bumped, so the bike wasn't able to read the speed of the rotation of the rear wheel, so the traction control and the blipper, it all had to turn off, but it was my fault, so when I bent it back ever so slightly, it started working perfectly again, and of course it worked flawlessly for the rest of the track day. But you're probably wondering about the racetrack, and it is pretty epic, so let's go through it corner by corner, and I will explain how it feels to go around this awesome new MotoGP racetrack. So now we are on the main straight, and over there, of course, you are enjoying the crazy acceleration of the bike, and then you go very hard on the brakes. I downshift all the way to the 2nd gear and I trail brake into the 1st corner, which connects very quickly to the next left-hand corner, which connects to yet another left-hand corner, which connects to yet another left-hand corner. This section is pretty crazy because you basically get the knee down in the tighter left turn, then you go into like a bigger left turn, and then the turn sort of like tightens again. You have to be shifting while in big lean, so it is pretty crazy. And after you go through this pretty cool section, you end up on another straight, which is very fast. It ends with very hard braking into a pretty tight right hand corner, and the section that's coming up is pretty interesting. It is 3 corners connected to each other, in a very interesting way. You go into the tight right-hander, which immediately transitions into a faster left-hander, which immediately transitions into an even faster right-hander. This section for me was pretty difficult. I was enjoying it a lot, but I don't think that I've quite nailed it. Not really. The tricky thing is that you really have to hustle the bike. I was counter steering quite a bit to get the bike really transitioned quickly enough from one corner into another, and what makes it even trickier, how each corner is faster than the other. So it's not about just transitioning the bike, but sort of going between the corners while accelerating the whole time. It is very, very cool. Then you almost transition into yet another corner, but for this next right-hander, I slow down a little bit, I get the bike turned as quickly as I can, and I just go full gas into another straight that is not as long or as fast as the previous ones, but it is still very intense. It yet again finishes with a hard braking into tight left-hander that goes into tight right-hander. There's nothing too tricky about it, you just have to flip the bike really quickly from one side to another. Then there is a pretty short straight and it goes into a longer left-hander, which is pretty delicious. You can stay at a higher lean angle for a long time, it's pretty awesome. And then you end up on another straight, which yet again ends with a very hard braking into a tight left-hander and a tight right-hander. And this part is not too tricky, you just have to flip the bike quickly from one side to another, but what comes next is a pretty exhilarating part of the track, because it's probably the fastest corner of the track, I think, and it is this long left-hander, which you do while accelerating, and it's almost like a straight. I think that 600s they probably go full gas. I was going full gas as well, but I had the traction control very high, so I don't know if you can do it full gas on a little bike without traction control, but either way it is exhilarating. You're accelerating the whole time through a pretty fast corner, and then you go into yet another very hard braking, followed by tight right hand turn and a tight left hand turn. Then there is a tiny little straight and you go straight into the last corner of the track. That is the only one separating you from the main straight. Danilo Petrucci from MotoGP did a lap in 1:44, Jari Montoya from World Superbike did it in 1:43, and I did 1:59. So don't take my lap as a reference by any means, but just enjoy the track, the speed and the exhilaration of going around this awesome track. Just a track day, but guys, the track is pretty amazing and everyone is very, very pleasant. And just like the feeling of security that you have when you see all the marshals around the track is really reassuring. The marshals were everywhere. There were multiple ambulances around the track, and when something happened, they were super, super professional. They were using the blue flags, which was awesome, so you don't get stuck behind someone slower or don't get too scared when someone suddenly overtakes you. So, just like an amazing, amazing event. I hope you enjoyed following me through this awesome experience, and if you did, follow for more.